my name is Molly Nissam, and I will be reflecting upon the process of creating my teenage magazine, The Real Teen. Here is my magazine cover, table of contents, and double-page spread. First is question 1. How does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups or issues? When I first decided to create a teenage magazine, I noticed two distinct types. The first one resembled a classic fashion magazine where one famous teen is featured on the cover, and there are primarily 3 colors utilized. The other type was much busier and utilized a lot of flash elements, multiple bright and contrasting colors, and various subjects on the cover. Some examples of these magazines are J14 and Tiger Beat. Ultimately, I decided to choose the first option in order to create a more sophisticated and high-quality magazine while still appealing to a young audience. Throughout my research of more professional teen magazines like Teen Vogue and 17 magazine, I realized that some common conventions amongst teen magazine covers are colors such as pink, red, black, and blue, cover lines relating to fashion, self-care, and body image, cover photos featuring a famous or popular teen, rhyming, alliteration, and assonance, buzzwords like free or giveaway, combination of bold and sophisticated fonts, and use of emojis, symbols, or abbreviations. Some examples of my use of these conventions on my cover page is that it features the colors pink and black, contains cover lines such as #SayCheese, free, cool hair don't care, and A+ style, which incorporates symbols, buzzwords, rhymes, and fashion advice, and highlights Amaya Howard, a popular teen and model. Some common conventions I used in my table of contents is including my masthead and dateline, incorporating 1 to 2 images, utilizing left-aligned large and bold numbers, and including a page number. And lastly, I utilize conventions in my double-page spread by including a headline, small description, interview-style content, an image on one page, page number, and columns. I challenge conventions by not placing most of my cover lines on the left third of the cover, not placing my kicker towards the bottom of the page, using a neutral color scheme in my table of contents, and using a transparent mirror image in the background of my article. In my magazine, young teenage girls are represented. Specifically, I wanted my model, Amaya, to represent a well-rounded high school senior who could be seen as a mentor for younger girls to succeed in high school. To do this, I made sure to emphasize Amaya's success in school, academically, athletically, and socially. Furthermore, I wanted to represent successful and ambitious young people through content on my table of contents about young giants in show business, MasterChef Junior winners, how teens can make money, and how to improve social media success. I also chose content on my table of contents to represent teen girls who are interested in pop culture, music, and current trends. Lastly, I represented the issue of the portrayal of women in the media and the unrealistic expectations placed on young girls, not by something included in my magazine, but in something purposely omitted. As I previously mentioned, a common teen magazine convention is to utilize cover lines relating to body image. I chose not to do this because I wanted to ensure that The Real Teen encourages positivity and inclusivity and does not contribute to the insecurities, low self-esteem, and poor mental health that is perpetuated in teenage girls by modern media. Next, I will discuss question 2. How does your product engage with audiences, and how would it be distributed as a real media text? My magazine engages with audiences in various different ways, but before I get into that, it is important to address who my audience is. My target market is teenage girls ages 12 to 18 who are currently in grades 6 through 12, are interested in fashion, pop culture, and self-care, and possess qualities such as creativity, ambition, and playfulness. In order to engage with them, I utilize cover lines that include direct addresses, questions, and contain the word you. Additionally, I use popular teenage girl vernacular like XOXO, pop, smooch, hashtag, and A+. Furthermore, the content of my double-page spread is directed specifically to my target audience, as it aims to give advice and feature anecdotes about succeeding in high school. My magazine would be distributed amongst typical magazines in places like grocery stores, convenience stores, gas stations, and bookstores. Additionally, given my audience, it would be distributed in places specifically for them, such as pediatrician offices, school libraries, and book fairs. Additionally, because my audience primarily uses social media to engage with content, The Real Teen will have social media accounts on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, where I will provide updates, sneak peeks, and polls for my audience to interact with. My magazine will also be distributed virtually through an online website where any user can access our latest issues and engage in interactive activities. Through a combination of print copies, social media, and digital access, my magazine will be distributed to a limitless amount of eager teenage girls. Now it's time for question 3. How did your production skills develop throughout this project? Before beginning this project, I had limited experience creating posters on Canva. I had never conducted a photo shoot, edited photos, or dealt with the complex mixture of font, size, color, spacing, layout, and all the other decisions that go into constructing an appealing and clear magazine. Additionally, I had limited experience reading magazines and knowing their conventions, as I typically just skim through a few pages or read a specific article I am looking for. I also have never used Blogger or any blog-making software before this project, nor have I ever read a blog beyond scrolling to the end to find the world's best cupcake recipe. So, beginning this great task was intimidating and stressful. However, throughout the process, I've grown to be a master of photography, editing, Canva design, magazine conventions, interviewing, and blogging. Through my research, I was able to identify general magazine conventions as well as those specific to teen magazines. Next, through practice capturing photos and trial and error, I developed strong photography skills, specifically being able to identify good lighting and use the rule of thirds to frame the subject. I was then able to master the art of editing photos by again practicing using Canva and being able to identify when to modify the contrast, sharpness, temperature, highlights, and everything else in between. However, the thing I am most proud of is my improvement in the layout and design of the pages. Through countless hours of using Canva and comparing to real magazine pages, I was able to understand how color, font, size, spacing, layout, design, elements, transparency, images, text, and content all work together to establish the magazine's mood and in turn the audience's future reaction. Lastly, I think my blogging skills have significantly improved as I've learned to establish my tone and utilize the Blogger software. Lastly, I will discuss question 4. How did you integrate technologies, software, hardware, and online in this project? To conduct my research, I used my MacBook Air to access the internet, find content, and document it. Google search engine was used as the hub for me to locate material to research, and YouTube was used as a way for me to learn from interactive videos and tutorials. To capture my images, I used my phone and the Apple Camera application. Then, to edit my images and construct my magazine, I utilized my MacBook Air and Canva software. This was the primary integration through this process. To document my whole creation process, I used Blogger software on my MacBook Air. Lastly, to create this creative critical reflection, I used Google Drive, iMovie, and Google on my MacBook Air, and voice memos on my iPhone. Overall, throughout this process, I integrated several software, hardware, and online technologies to create The Real Teen. Thank you for coming along on this journey with me.